We are headed to my off-grid cabin to have a little fun.
Wow.
Since we announced that we're headed to Alaska to live off the grid, I've been getting a lot of questions about how we're going to run our life, power our life up. We have mentioned that we're going to be putting a solar system on our off-grid cabin in Alaska, and we've been getting a ton of questions because everybody knows that in the wintertime in Alaska, it gets kind of dark. And how are you going to live off of solar power in the winter in Alaska? Well, we're going to talk about that today, and that's why we're at my off-grid cabin where we're going to have a little bit of fun. Okay, this actually isn't my off-grid cabin. This is just a little shed that we have here on the family farm. But let's pretend this is my off-grid cabin, and I want to power this off-grid cabin in the summer, in the winter, on rainy days, on sunny days. How would I be able to do that? Back in 2023, we went and spent some time in Alaska learning about off-grid life. And we found an answer to this question. How can you power your cabin off of a solar system when it gets dark or when it rains? And that's where this guy comes in.
Wow.
When we went to Alaska in 2023, one of the things that we did a lot of was go and visit other people's off-grid cabins to learn what they did to power their off-grid life, to deal with the trials and struggles of living in a place that doesn't have a lot of sun in the wintertime. And one of the homesteads that we visited was Matt, Alaska Cabin Adventures YouTube channel, his homestead.
Everyone, this is Matt. Matt is a rugged Alaskan adventurer.
The feeling that you could do that, like where'd that confidence, is it confidence? Checked out his cabin, and Matt was actually faced with this very problem when he built his off-grid cabin.
In Alaska, it's pretty damn dark in the winter. We get about 4 hours of sunlight in the months of like December, January. And sunlight meaning just barely sliding across the horizon.
Yeah.
So you're not going to harvest much solar during that time.
So he wired his cabin like any other cabin with electric lines, places to plug stuff in.
Flip on some lights here. Kind of makes it pop out a little bit better. Had my buddy from high school ended up becoming an electrician.
Sweet.
And so I flew him up here and he wired the thing for me. And it only took about a day. It was super easy, at least for him. I would have never done it. But I've got my panel hiding underneath here, and it's got all the breakers and stuff, which is really simple. If you're savvy with that at all, it's easy to do.
And he's got a breaker box, and he had his whole cabin wired, and he actually had a gas generator that he would run throughout the winter time when he needed power, or in the summertime when he needed power. A gas generator can run, it doesn't need the sun.
My electricity was always just with a small generator. I had a little 2,000 watt inverter, and it's got all the juice that I've needed to build the cabin. So running power tools, charging batteries, that's the only generator I ever used.
But he didn't like using the gas generator because it was loud, and when you're off grid in Alaska, you're trying to get away from all the noise and the hustle bustle of the city life, and he wanted some peace and quiet. That's when he stumbled across the EcoFlow system.
But recently I did make the leap to solar. I got a 100 watt solar panel and a small portable power station from EcoFlow. They make great products. The one I got is the Delta. I think it's called the Delta 2, and it's a small 2,000 watt portable power station. And I've got the 100 watt solar panel that will charge that station. And if I had more solar panels hooked up to it, I might be able to go fully solar.
We've been spoiled. We've been here in Alaska last almost a month now, and this time of year I've been really excited because we also are operating both cabins off of solar, and I also got it's a 2400 watt solar generator. All the stuff's charged today, all the video we're taking, the audio stuff, all charged off of So our necessities, those little portable solar systems,
They're amazing.
amazing,
yeah.
and they're. I am a dummy as far as electric goes. I'm the biggest dummy out there. But you just plug and play.
Plug it in.
But now you have, as you were giving us our tour in the first video in this series, you have more than just the electric through that thing. You also have your cabin wired for some electricity.
Yes, so the cabin's wired up for electricity, but all that electricity just comes right from the power station. So I have basically a master input plug on the outside of the cabin that I just take the power station and plug it in.
Right,
and then that gives it power. So then I can piggyback. So I've got my solar panel going into the power station going into the cabin. Eventually, if I upgrade solar panels, I could probably get to the where I'm using solar 99% of the time.
Wow.
With my uses, I think I have really low electricity needs. Especially if I get conservative and turn the fan off and turn the lights off every time I'm not using them. But the nice thing is that my generator has so much spillover of watts. So in other words, if it's running, even on eco throttle, it's always putting out electricity. I'm just not necessarily using it all the time.
Right.
And so it's a waste for it to have it running. So if I'm, just sitting in here with one light on, well, the generator's still got to run. So it's going to burn gas. Even though it's on an eco throttle, it's still on a timeline. So now instead I have the generator hooked up to the power station.
Perfect.
And so every time I turn on my generator, it charges my power station all the way back up, and then I can turn the generator off. And so I used to go through about a gallon of gas a day because if I wanted, especially in the winter, if I wanted lights and convenience of electricity all day, about 12 hours on a gallon of gas. And then at night I would shut it off or whatever. But although not if I want the ceiling fan to run, you got to run the generator all night. So, but that was a pretty good average. And now, man, I can get through about a week with a gallon of gas because I only have to run the generator for about an hour to recharge the power station. And then that coupled with solar. So
he ran his entire cabin off of a Delta EcoFlow, and he was able to seriously reduce how much gas he was using. And that's actually kind of EcoFlow's whole thing. EcoFlow is a company who is really interested in seeing more and more people get away from the gas power generators and switch over to portable power stations that can be charged off a gas generator if need be, but even better, run off your car if you're driving your car around, run off the power of the sun, running off alternative sources. So while this unit is pretty small and lightweight, it doesn't look very big and it's not that heavy, but this thing packs a punch. It is very powerful. It has 240 watts of AC power, but it also has the power to do surge. It can surge up to 3,400 watts. And it can do that with no moving parts, so there's no maintenance, right? You don't need to put oil in this thing. You don't need to take it and get serviced. It's also a clean, quiet replacement for your gas generator. 30 decibels while it's running. So this unit here, you got no fumes, it's quiet, and yet it can run 99% of the appliances that you have in your house. So let's imagine you have an off-grid cabin and you're thinking about how to power this. You could get a gas generator, or you could get something like this EcoFlow, which can be recharged without a gas generator at all if you have enough solar power. When you compare the two, think about it. Your gas generator, you gotta, every time you use it, buy gasoline. That's a non-renewable resource. You got to fill the thing up. This, you can charge off the power of the sun if the sun is there. And if you don't happen to have the sun, you can use a gas power generator, or you can charge it off your car. When you compare it to a gas power generator, this is quiet, it's fume free. One of the benefits of it being fume free is you can bring this inside. You can plug things into it inside your house. You don't have to worry about poisoning everybody inside the cabin. I'm constantly worried about running a gas generator. When we've had power outages in the past, we've run the gas generator, and I'm always worried that I'm going to wind up, killing everybody in the house with carbon monoxide. You don't have to worry about that when you're running a portable power station like this EcoFlow Delta Max. It's a really nice solution that could either eliminate gas generators completely from the picture at your off-grid cabin, or if you're in a place like Alaska where it gets really dark and you might not have enough light to charge this up during certain times of the year, you can minimize your use of your gas generators. And that is how we are going to solve that problem in our off-grid cabin in Alaska. We do have a gas powered generator, and when it gets darker, during the darker times of the year, although you will pick up a little bit of solar power, you do get some solar power even during the dark times of the year. We will be able to recharge our solar power and our portable power stations by running a gas generator for just an hour or two a day. Now, the time will come where you have to recharge it. And with solar power, if you have the sun, that's a really nice option. Solar power will get you a good ways, and it will recharge really quickly. You can also, like I said, if you do have a gas power generator, you can run it. These units recharge very, very fast. One of the coolest things about this EcoFlow Delta 2 Max, it has dual charging capability where if the sun is shining, we can charge this with solar panels, but we can also charge it with AC power off of, for example, a generator. It is the world's fastest recharging unit. It can be on empty and go to 80% power in 43 minutes with that dual charging technology. When you're in your cabin, you're burning up energy, you connect your solar panels, you run your gas generator if you have to for just an hour at most, and then you shut it off and you're back to running this for the rest of the day. That's exactly what Matt from Alaska Cabin Adventures did, and he loved it so much he had the original EcoFlow Delta unit. He actually wound up upgrading to this exact model, the second one. This thing has a lot of power, but as you've seen, I've been lugging it around. It's pretty lightweight. It's actually the lightest 2,400 watt LFP battery in its market. It's about 16 pounds lighter than a lot of its competitors. And that's nice because you're going to be taking this with you a lot of different places for a long time. It has a lifespan of 10 years. So you're going to be lugging this with you while you're camping. You're going to be taking it to the off-grid cabin, wherever you need it, backup power. If the power goes out at home, this can come with you. You can carry it around. It's not too heavy, and it's built to last. I always like to find a unit that I can get started with, like this one, and then grow, that can grow with me. And this EcoFlow system, you can expand it with expansion batteries. With expansion batteries, you can get this unit to up to 6 kilowatt hours. If you go and install a transfer switch, that means you have home backup 6 kilowatt hours with your EcoFlow system. Now, although it's nice to know that you can charge this up with AC power, you can run a generator and get it back to full power, or you can plug it into your house before you head to your off-grid cabin. If you have an off-grid cabin that you go to on the weekends, like, you know, my imaginary off-grid cabin here. A lot of people do that. You can recharge this thing, but of course, I prefer to use solar panels. It's much nicer to be out at your cabin and have solar panels. Nowadays, you can get 500 watt solar panels. It's really impressive what you can get in just one panel now. With two 500 watt solar panels, you can hook up to this unit. It's got a 1,000 watt dual input system. With its independent MPPT technology, you can take advantage of those two different solar panels for maximum recharging time. EcoFlow has an app that goes along with this unit, so you can customize your energy usage. You can customize how the unit works, whether you want it to be a backup power source that is always on in case of the power going down, or you want to be more energy efficient in how you use your power. Maybe you want it to run at certain times of the day to cut down on utility bills. Now, as I've said, I have not used this unit yet. As you can see, this is an unboxing. I just got this today. It just arrived. And I have talked about we're doing this off-grid gear series right now. This off-grid gear, unfortunately, not many of these companies ship to Alaska. So I have to get all these units shipped to me now while I'm still in Pennsylvania. So today I'm in my imaginary off-grid cabin. But I'm going to be taking all these different pieces of equipment, all these different solar power systems and battery banks and power stations. I'm going to be taking them all with me to the cabin in Alaska and putting them all through the ringer, trying them out, testing them out, pushing their limits to see which of these units is my favorite. And in the future, we'll do more content where we tell you what these different units are capable of, what we used them for, what we didn't use them for. But I know that this unit is going to work because I saw Matt run his entire cabin off this very exact unit. Push the power button and on it comes. 30% of it's charged right now. We're going to want to recharge that right away. I can hook this up to my vehicle, or I can hook it up to my house. I can charge it with a solar panel. All kinds of different ways I can charge this unit. I have some USB-A and some fast charge USB. Also USB-C, and by just pushing that button right there, it's on and it's charging. Here's the extra battery port, so if I do get an expansion system, I can plug in right there to power up some extra batteries and make this thing last even longer. And on this side of the interface, we have our AC power. Pushing that button powers up our AC plugs, and now I can plug in my computer, my refrigerator. One of the nice things about a unit that's at least 2,000 watts, as long as you have over 2,000 watts in your portable power station, any one of those plugs can power pretty much 99% of the appliances and things you have in your home, because your typical AC plug is about 1,800 watts. So with 2,400, you're able to run your refrigerator, your microwave, your chest freezer, whatever you need to run in an emergency. And with an expansion battery system, you can run a few of those for an extended amount of time. So it's a system that can get you off and running, and then it grows with you over time. And if you have it wired by an electrician to a transfer switch like Matt did, you can actually power your entire cabin. Now, running your gas generator less, that's nice because you're not burning up fossil fuels. There's no emissions, so that's a good thing. It's also nicer for your wallet because you're not spending money on gasoline every time you have to fire this up. But EcoFlow wants to do more. They actually want to help not just you. If you get this unit, they want to help other people. And with that in mind, EcoFlow is having a members festival campaign right now where they're encouraging EcoFlow owners to register during this time, this festival, and become part of something bigger, something that's going to help a lot of people. This festival is highlighting their Power for All initiative. EcoFlow wants people who own EcoFlow units to be able to use them to help others during disaster times, using their EcoFlow products to help other people who need power, who need help. They're inviting the different owners of the EcoFlow units to register and to share their stories, and through good work and helping others earn points, get prizes. During this time period, they're also going to have some really big discounts. So if you want to become the new owner of an EcoFlow unit like this, you can take advantage of their discounts, join their EcoFlow Members Festival, where you can not only make sure that your cabin has the power it needs, but you can use this to help other people when their needs arise. I know that this is a reliable product because I've seen it used in Alaska to run the entire power system of that cabin in Alaska, Matt's cabin. That being said, I am really excited to actually take it to Alaska with me and put it through the ringer, try it out, see how it works. So right now, this was a sponsored video. They provided us with that unit, and check out the links in the description below where you can get an EcoFlow at a discount. I will also have a link in the description below where you can go check out Alaska Cabin Adventures. You can see Matt, his review of the EcoFlow unit, and you can see some of the awesome stuff he's doing in his off-grid cabin in Alaska. Stay tuned because we are going to be headed to Alaska. We're going to be taking all this off-grid gear with us and testing it out in the last frontier, seeing how it performs. And we will do future videos where we share with you what systems we're using, what equipment is our favorite, and what you can use, what will be the best for you back at your homesteads.